a 7-day cruise to the Turks, Caicos Islands. So I thought I'd give a little live real quick. I've been messing with these lives a little bit to see what people think about it. Let me adjust. I got some better gear for adjusting the camera and all that. So anyway, we'll see how many people we end up with in the live, and talk a little bit about what I thought about the trip, what I expected, and how the trip actually went. I'm gonna cook some dinner. I do about 90% of the cooking. So is there anybody else out there that's the male that cooks in the house? So my neighbor across the street, she taught me how to cook. So I do a lot of the cooking, and so I'm just gonna cook some BLT. I was just curious how people would react to the lives. So I've never been on a cruise before. Betsy booked the cruise. The cruise was scheduled for the 31st. We did leave we flew out of Sacramento. So hour drive in our car down to Sacramento. Left our vehicle in the long-term economy parking, which costs, I'm thinking it was $11 a day or $15 a day. I'm not sure. I think it was $11 a day. Anyway, so we left our vehicle in the long-term parking economy parking lot. So we drove to Sacramento, got on a plane to Miami, stayed one night stay in Miami. Stayed in a real nice hotel not far from where you could see our ship from our room. So we left out of Miami on the ship, the Carnival, the Celebrity by Carnival. It's a really nice ship, 16 decks, real nice deck upstairs, the Lido deck. If you would, and when you come in, put in the comments if you ever been on a cruise, and what was your favorite cruise you've been on. So when I first went, I thought, oh man, I don't know about this, rocking back and forth for 7 days at sea. I didn't know how that would go for me, but actually it went really well. I thought I would really feel the ship moving around, and honestly, the whole time we were on the trip, I only felt really the ship move a few times. You really just feel like you're in a building. I felt like I was in a high-class hotel the whole time. And as far as what I got from the trip was, I really enjoyed it. It was convenient. It was like everything you need is there. You have all your really nice restaurants, high-end restaurants where you get a nice menu. You get starters, entrees, a main dish, a dessert, and so you get a pretty good selection of food. And then on your package, when you get your package, so the way the ship works is when you get on, they give you a card, and everything on that card is related to your room. So you get they have room service, which I really took advantage of. I thought the room service was great. You can just go in and you can pre-order your coffee in the morning. They'll deliver it right to your room, cost you nothing. It's part of your package. So I did that a lot. Every morning I made sure we got coffee delivered to our room. And we got a balcony, so you could actually open the door, walk out on the balcony. We were on the 8th floor forward. And so when you get there, there's like a security checkpoint you got to go through, similar to what you go through like when you go through security in an airport. They check your bags, the whole 9 yards. They have a dog come through and sniff all your stuff. And then onto the ship you go, and then you go to your room. And then they have a couple dining areas that's part of your package. So every breakfast and every dinner is already set up with a table for you. You check in, and then you go to your table to have breakfast and dinner. And so they have other restaurants, a lot of really nice restaurants on board. I mean, really high-end restaurants. And So there's some of them that come free with your package, so you can go to the restaurant one time for free. So you can choose couple different restaurants to go see and do, and and then there's shopping. There's a gym on board. There's all kinds of entertainment that was available. So the entertainment was they had some comedians like every night. We've probably seen a comedian like every other night. And hey, Shadow Clone, how you doing? I'm trying to remember to do that while I'm doing these lives. I have a hard time sometimes seeing all the real small writing, but I try to say hi to people as they come in the room. We're hoping we can get people to subscribe to our channel. What we do a lot of traveling within Northern California. That's a one day travel, so you can go and do the travel, go see something, make it back to your house without having to pay for a room. So we document all that on our channel. So if you live in Northern California, um, Sacramento area, we're about an hour north of Sacramento, so that's what our channel is about. We put together trips that you can leave in the morning, make it to your destination, have a really good day, and we put all the costs and where to eat and what to expect and all that. So anyway, that's what the travel's about. That's what the channel is about. So this was my first time on a cruise. Betsy, she booked everything, and I gotta say that I really liked it. I've done a lot of different types of traveling over the years. I like to ride motorcycles. I've been on a lot of big long trips on motorcycles traveling. I've used a motorhome quite a bit, where I go on trips on a motorhome. And I gotta say, between of all the types of traveling I've done, the motorhome traveling and the cruise are the two best I've ever done. The motorhome, you still have to do all your own cooking and that, but you don't have to really plan anything. You can just wing it. You can just go. You can stay as long as you want. You can leave when you want. If you can pull over anytime you want and eat or whatever. But the cruise, for the most part, it's really convenient, because once you get on board, you don't really have anything you have to do. You get on board, you get your clothes put away, and you're on vacation. I mean, it's like you don't have to think about cooking. You don't have to think about washing your clothes. You don't have to think about what you're gonna do. You can pay for. We did not pay for internet access while we was out, because it's pretty expensive. It's like $40 a day for the internet. So, hi Rick, how you doing, buddy? Rick Baldridge, how you doing? Just entered the room. So you don't have to really pay for much. Once you pay for your trip, everything's paid for. All your food, you can get a drink package where you can go anywhere on the ship and get a drink the whole time you're there. So we shared cost on that, and it worked out pretty good. Um, but it's kind of expensive for the drink package, but if you figure it out by the day, it's actually a pretty good deal if you do a lot of drinking, or you expect to drink a lot of drinks for the day. The drinks can be kind of expensive, 12 to 15 bucks a piece on board, so it adds up fast. So, but for the most part, once you get on board, man, it's just vacation central. You don't have any worries to think about. You got your food access, you got your entertainment, you got access to room service, you have a gym right there if that's something that you're into. They have shopping. They have a lot of photo opportunities if you're like into getting photos done. They have a lot of people available to do that, walking around with cameras. They'll take your picture, they send it to your room number, and later on you can look through the pictures and decide what you want. And for the most part, the cost is not as expensive as you would think. We just recently looked it up because we're thinking about taking a trip down to Mexico for a 3-dayer from here. And I think we seen some that were under the $500 range. So for $1,000 for the both of us to go, all food included, everything's included. Unless you can incur costs. Like if you want to go to a certain different type of restaurant, or you want to add something that's not on the menu to your meal, they might upcharge you $5 or something. So there's little upcharges like that. But for the most part, $1,000 for two people for a 3 day, um, you know, trip down to Mexico on a cruise is a pretty good deal. I mean, you're talking $300 a day for your food and lodging. That's a pretty good deal. So anyway, I thought I'd try this live out and see what kind of reaction we get from the community. We're trying to build it. I have another channel I'd work a lot on, so I've been creating content for a while. So I've been trying to really push on this traveling channel, because we do a lot of traveling in Northern California, and it's nice when you can go and see. Like look up and go, hey, we're thinking about going to Hearst Castle. Let's go see what it's all about. And you can look it up and you can see how much it costs, where it's located, what to expect. A big thing for me is knowing where to go eat. Sounds crazy, but you burn a lot of time when you're on vacation trying to figure out where to eat. And if you already know, hey, we're gonna go, let's go check out, Day Trippers channel and see where they recommend that we go eat while we're down there, because that helps you a lot. It saves you a lot of time. You know where you're going, you know what to expect, you know what the cost is going to be, and you get down there and you don't have to waste a bunch of time of your day doing that. You can plan your trip before you even leave the door and know, hey, we're going down there. This is what it's going to cost us to go. This is what to expect. So if you guys would, give us your subscription, and we're going to keep up on with this travel channel. And we do a lot of different kind of traveling. Like I said, I like to ride on a motorcycle. I have a motorhome, and we started trying these cruises out. Betsy really likes the cruises a lot, and so we're probably going to do that more than we have in the past. So as long as it costs money to do that, so we just have to figure out how to. And that's the thing she does is, she says, if you wait and have to come up with all the money right up front, it is kind of expensive. But if you plan for it and just pay $100 a month, for your trip, at the end of the year, your trip's paid for. It doesn't seem like it costs as much because you've been doing it throughout the whole year. And then once you get it paid off, you go on the trip. So it works out pretty good. So my birthday's coming up in October. We're talking about going on a 3-dayer down to Mexico to see what that's all about. And it's saying you leave out of Long Beach. So we'll see. I'm going to try to talk her into jumping on the bike and riding down there. We'll see. See if she's willing. She's probably watching right now. So she just heard my secret. So I'd like to get on the bike and ride down to Long Beach, maybe close to the Long Beach area, maybe down to San Diego area, and then take a taxi or get some transportation from San Diego into Long Beach and then off to the ship. Well, the thing is, I got to figure out how to store the bike while we're down there where it's not going to get damaged or anything. Anyway, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, give us your subscription. I'm gonna cook some dinner right here. So I know there's a lot of people that do that cooking thing. Oh, I'm gonna cook this and cook that. This ain't a cooking channel. It's just I'm back from my vacation, and I finally got rested up. I was feeling a little under the weather, so I figured, you know what? I'm gonna do a live today on our travel channel. And see, I would love to do like a 15-minute a day live. If we got some kind of traction out of it. A day in the life of Go Big. They call me Go Big. And maybe do like 15 minutes a day. I work part-time. I work part year. I'm a mechanic. I'm a DIY guy. I like to do that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to get going on some dinner here. I'm doing quick, easy BLTs today, and if you just got here, you're probably gonna see this. This will get loaded as a video on our channel. So if you're not watching it live, leave some things in the comments about what you think would bring you value to sit and watch our travel channel. So So just to confirm, this is a travel channel. This is what we do. We do travel videos on places to go in Northern California. Not just Northern California, but we try to make it a 3-hour radius from where we live, so you can get up early, get to your destination. We put in the best routes. We put in where to buy the gas, because that's a big thing to figure out. And I'll tell you what, if you just use our gas savings tips on your trips, you'll save so much money, because we've learned by doing the traveling where to get the gas. And then we put that all out there, so you know, okay, hey, it's this many miles at the halfway point. We want to stop right here at this station, and we'll get like 60 cents off on our gas per gallon, and then it saves you money. And so we put in little savings tips like that, and then you'll know what to expect. And we'll put in our videos, this is a $500 trip. This is going to cost you $500. So you know up front, hey, if we go on this trip this weekend, it's going to be $500, or it's going to be $200, or nothing. It could be $100, just gas. So we do get trips where it'll get you to a nice place to spend the day, and enough time to get back home and not have to rent a hotel. That's what it's all about, is being able to do the 1-day trips, leave early, get packed. We'll give you tips on being prepared in the morning. That's a big thing, being prepared. How to be prepared when you get up. Have a breakfast ready, so you can just quick out the door breakfast on your way, get on the road, give yourself about 3 hours drive time, and or less. It depends on where we're going. And go check out our video we did on the caverns. It's pretty good. So we did the caverns in 1 day. So we got up super early, left early, made it over to the caverns, spent all day at the caverns, made our way back home, and we did that trip in 1 day without having to stay at a hotel. So, you save about $300 when you don't have to stay in a hotel. You save money by eating breakfast before you leave, and maybe take some lunch with you, or stop somewhere reasonable and have lunch, and then you can get dinner when you get home. So you can save a lot of money by doing these, and we do them because it allows us to go 3 times as many places. If it's going to cost us a day, you just figure a day rental of a room anymore is around $300, or somewhere in there, $200 to $300. So you figure your rental of your room, there's $200. Going out to eat, there's $100 bill, that's $300. Your lunch, you're $400, and you haven't even went nowhere yet. So, by doing these 1-day trips, you can go 3 different places for the same amount of money. You just get up early, be prepared, have a plan, go where you're going to go to see, go do your exploring, and then use our tips for the gas and the places where to go eat that we've already went to, and we'll give you pros and cons of places where to eat and not eat. If we go to a place and we say we ate here, we're going to tell you it wasn't good. So you save yourself some time. Why go to a place that and waste your time and go, man, that was horrible. We're going to give you tips on places, because Betsy's a food snob. I'm going to tell you right now, she needs to have certain type of food. It has to be at a certain level, or she's not going to be smiling very big. So that's our real pitch for the channel. If you like to travel on the weekends. And here's the other thing: if you're the kind of person that doesn't have a lot of if you're not the person that has a lot of time on your hands for vacation time, these are great ways to spend. Um, let's say you only get 2 days a week off. This is perfect. You come to our channel, you look at what's available in the Northern California area, pick a destination. You already know where you're going to stay and sleep, because or not stay and sleep. You already know what your destination is going to be and what to expect. You know where to get gas, so you can save some money on the way. And then we'll give you tips about other things to do in the area while you're there. And so, when you have limited time, these little videos that we're doing can save a lot of the unknown about a trip. In other words, how far is it? How far long does it take to get there? What's the best route? Should I not take this road? Like there's certain highways in California you should not take. I'll give you an example. There's a highway, Highway 36. It goes from Fort Bragg to Red Bluff. And if you see that on a map, you'll think, oh man, that's a shortcut. That's a great way to go. That is the longest road. It's the road from hell, I'm telling you. 85 miles of windy road, 20-mile-an-hour road. So those are the kind of things that will save you from. It's like, don't go that way. Go this way. Or, this direction they're doing road construction. Don't take that road. Take this road. Or, here's the halfway point. Now's the time to fill up on gas. And then you fill up coming back. And then you don't get stuck in those destinations. Like Fort Bragg's a good example of that. When you go to Fort Bragg from here, if you get over to Fort Bragg and you're sitting on empty, you're going to pay $5-6 a gallon for gas. So we got it set up on that trip now that we know where to get fuel that'll get us back to that halfway point and get us home. And we can get gas for about 50 cents cheaper a gallon than you'll buy, 60 cents usually. But for Fort Bragg, it's over $1. So you'll save just by using our tips that we're going to give you in our, go to our Lake Shasta Cavern trip and check that out. We'll give you some tips on where to get gas, and it saves over $1 a gallon in gas. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when I started driving my motorhome, I realized how much that means. $1 a gallon in a motorhome is a $100 bill when you fill up in gas. So if you're driving a motorhome and you're going on a 500-mile trip, that $1 a gallon goes a long ways. I mean, you figure if you burn 500 gallons of fuel on a trip in a motorhome and you save $1 a gallon, you save $500. That's a big savings. So so if you would, give us your subscription. We'll make sure that it'll be worth your while. And we're doing these 1-day trips on our weekends time off. So anyway, we just got back from Puerto Plata. Or not Puerto Plata. I always say Puerto Plata because I really liked it there. It was a place just outside the Dominican Republic. And I'll give you an example on that day about our channel and how we got stuck kind of in that situation, but we bailed ourselves out. So we didn't really have internet, and I was busy working on a truck that I was working on, and I didn't get my research done before we left. And I figured, well, I'll just check the internet. We'll get a plan going, whatever. And I did the same thing that I'm telling you not to do. Is we got going and we couldn't get good internet, so we couldn't really do a good research on where we were going. So we ported at Puerto Plata and the Turk Islands, and we got off the ship, and they have excursions you can go on with the ships that cost, it can cost anywhere from $80 a person up to $1,000 a person, depending on what you're doing. You could be doing, swimming with the dolphins or going on a hike or whatever, so they have those, but we didn't have anything planned. So when we got off the ship, we sat there for a minute talking, and I said, what do you think about just getting a taxi for the day? And we talked about it for a little bit, and then we tried to get a deal, and the first price we got was $140. And I was like, no, that's too, or even Betsy was the one saying, nope, that's too much money. I said, okay, we'll mess around and see what we can come up with. So I talked to another driver, and then finally we got somebody to go down to $70 for half day. And it was like noon anyway. We had to be back to the ship, by 4:30, so it worked out great. So we just went ahead and got a cab, and we're going to drop some video. I got all kinds of content to drop on our 7-day cruise that I'm going to drop day by day. So if you're into cruising, go check out those videos. We did a day by day 7-day cruise with Carnival Celebrity Line. And so when we got off, I decided, so we got a cab. And then our driver, he stayed with us the whole day. It took us anywhere we wanted to go. took us, if we wanted to go have food, if we wanted to see the sights, took us into the countryside, took us into the city. We got to go see the Umbrella Street in Puerto Plata. We got to see the coastline. We went and visited an organic chocolate farm where we bought some. I got some chocolate covered cigars. I don't smoke, but hey, I figured I'm there. I'm gonna get me some chocolate flavored cigars. So anyway, to cut the story short, we came up with a plan. You know, we saved money, cost us $70. We spent all day looking all throughout the countryside, and it worked out really great. So don't follow the masses when you're on vacation. Try to get away from all the people and do your own thing, because you'll have a lot better time, and it's a better bargain. You get over there to Dominican Republic, you can really do some bargaining with people when it comes to what you pay for things. So for like that $70, that guy took us all around the island, and he actually took us back over where he came the first time, because we missed the chocolate farm. They had an organic farm there that we missed, so we wanted to go back to it, and so he took us all the way back over there. So it was like a full day of just going all over. We got to film all through the city. We got to see the outskirts of Puerto Plata. He took us to a bunch of just a really neat tour of the city and the countryside for Puerto Plata. So if you've never been on a cruise before, that was me. I never did it before. And we were sitting there. And Betsy was a little concerned about making it back to the ship, and that's something to be concerned about, because if you don't make it back to the ship, you get left there. They don't wait for you, and then you got to figure out a way to get back onto the ship at the next port, which can be expensive and not easy to do. So you want to make sure you make it back on time. But I'm kind of I just like to wing it. I just said, let's just go, man. Let's go. So I talked her into it. We got in the cab. The guy assured us that we would be back on time no matter what. So we went for it, and we were back probably an hour early. So we made it back to the ship early, and that was a great day. It's probably, I would say, one of our best days on the trip was Puerto Plata, when we went in the cab with the driver. He was a young man, really good English. He took us, as a matter of fact, I'm going to post this information on here, so if you guys ever go there, you can get a hold of him, and he'll take you all around the island. I told him, hey, I'll make you famous. So if you ever go to Puerto Plata, use this information. Somehow we'll get that linked on here on one of the videos. So I'm going to post video day by day, and then I'm going to do like a 10-minute video from day 1 all the way to 7, just condense everything so everybody can kind of see what it was like. What are the pros? What are the cons? Some of the cons, the internet was an issue. If you're going to go, I would suggest pay for the internet if you're planning on doing any planning while you're on the ship, because it's hard to plan without internet. And that was one of the things that I didn't like. What was another thing about the room? The room was excellent. The service was excellent. The food was really good. One of the things I didn't like was the door going out to the balcony. Because we had a little walkway we were on the 8th floor, so it had a walkway on that 8th floor where you could go out the balcony and you could walk down and get in the pool, and there was a bar right there, so you could get a drink, you could get in the pool, and then you could walk back to your room soaking wet and get on the back porch and dry off and whatever. But the problem is when you go out that back door doesn't lock from the outside. So I didn't like that. But that was one of the things I didn't like, is for whatever reason they don't allow you to lock the doors from the outside. Maybe it's a safety issue. I don't really know. One of the other things, there was a little bit of confusion when it was time to deboard. The deboarding process isn't, hey, you just get your stuff and leave. You have to kind of wait, and they release everybody in sections, so you don't have 5,000 people trying to get off all at the same time. And there was a little bit of confusion on that. It wasn't confusion. They just wouldn't let us go downstairs with our luggage. So they kept trying to make us stay. We were supposed to be on 6. I think it was 6, and they made us stay at 7. Well, Betsy, she's good at talking people into things. She she convinced the lady that we could go down to 7, and so I went down to 7 or 6 to get with our group so we could get off, because you get boarded off at a certain time so you can make it to the airport for your flight home. So you don't want to be late. Any of this stuff when it's like time to go, you want to be ready. You don't want to miss. You don't want to miss your bus to the airport. You know, you don't ever want to be late getting back to the ship. And here's something that was kind of funny that I thought. They got these things, they call them runners. And runners are people that have drug their feet all day, and the ship's getting ready to leave. And here you see them coming, man. They're running down the thing, you know, all their stuff in their hands, and they're trying to make it to the ship before the ship leaves. Because if you don't get on board when it's time to go, they leave you. They ain't good. They don't stick around and wait on one person when there's 4,500 people that made it back on time. If you don't make it back on time, see you at the next port. And it's up to you to figure out. And it can be a long ways. I mean, it could be, you know, I don't know how many miles it is, but I couldn't imagine what it would cost to get the transportation from where you're at to the next port and get there on time to get back on the ship. So, you know, be aware of that. If you're going cruising, be on the ship when it's time to go back, no matter what. You better figure it out. I don't care what you got to do. You better be back on time, because they do not wait. They will leave you there. And some of these places you don't want to be left there. You don't. So I never really felt unsafe the whole time we were on the cruise at all. You know, let's talk a little bit about Celebration Keys. In my opinion, I thought Celebration Keys was great. It's not more like where you can, there is a place, there is a town nearby that you can venture into, but there's not a lot you can do outside of there. So it's a pretty condensed area, but it's property that's owned by Carnival, but it's set up really nice. They have a right and a left side. I think it's called Starfish side, and something Lagoon side. Calypso Lagoon side. So there's 2 sides, 2 beaches, 2 areas, all kinds of food trucks that are free for people that are off the cruise line. Most of the food is free. Like some of the restaurants and stuff you got to pay for, but they have a tram that runs on the half hour. So if you want to go to the beach, you just jump on the tram. It takes you down there. They got you know, free access with all kinds of chairs with umbrellas, and a really nice beach right there. And here's a recommendation I'll make to you. If you go to Expedition Key, is don't go to the Starfish side if you're going to go to the beach, because it's very rocky. I've heard a lot of people say that, and our driver told us that. He said, don't go over that side if you plan on getting in the water, because it's really rocky. And if you would, as you guys see this video, put some comments in there if you've been to Celebration Key is a pretty new destination. It's only been open for like a month and a half maybe, but it was really nice. It had lots of places to get in the shade. They had drinks available if you wanted to buy drinks. The drinks were a little expensive, not crazy expensive, a little expensive. But the area was nice. It had really nice beaches you can access, good food right there. They have a big pool area on the other side. It's like a giant pool that, you know, like a wading pool. It's like, we didn't go into the pool over there because we were swimming in the ocean side, but it looks like a big old party pool, you know, like, you know, it's like 3 feet, 4 feet deep maybe, but huge, just huge. It goes out there. And, what else can I talk about other than that? I'll have to take some notes down, and I'll do a second live about our trip so we can go into detail about every day, you know, what we did and what we expected and what came out of the whole deal. So on the ship itself, it's pretty amazing. It's like being in a big, huge skyscraper building. They have casinos, they have restaurants, they have spas where you can get, you know, massages done or a spa treatment. They have jewelry where you could purchase jewelry. They have just all kinds of stuff. I mean, all kinds of entertainment. You can watch a movie on the outside. Um, they have an upper deck called the Lido deck. That's kind of a party deck where everybody goes, where there's a lot of bars, a big, huge pool, and that kind of stuff. And so, anyway, that's the skinny of our trip. I'm gonna go port by port. I'm gonna do another live and do a little port by port, but I just finally got my sleeping back and I'm feeling a little bit better than when I first got home. So I thought I'd jump on here. I'm gonna make some lunch here for me and Betsy, and I think I'll just leave the live going just to see, because I think the lives are kind of I think the lives could be a kind of a neat way to get some viewage on YouTube. Because when you do the lives, they actually put them out on the shorts feed, so you get a lot more people that come in. So we've been live for 35 minutes. So I'll quit yakking about the cruise, and I'm just gonna make some BLT, quick and easy. Don't take long. Here, I'll give you a little cooking tip, and that is, if you don't do a lot of cooking, get myself out with a door. This is what they call shoot from the hip, no prep, old style vlogging. One thing I want to promote with the vlogs is, are you tired of AI yet? I am. We're not AI. You can't reproduce a live vlog with AI without people. I mean, I guess if you could spend a lot of time, you could, but you're not going to get people's real personalities with AI. AI is flooding YouTube. A lot of times people are watching videos, you're just watching regurgitated information is all you're watching. ChatGPT, that's all it is. They're taking everybody's content, they're jumbling it up, and when somebody asks for it, they spit it out, and that's what you're getting. So if you're not into AI, come check out our channel, because we're not AI. I'll be honest, I use AI sometimes with the title and description because it just saves time because I have a hard, I type very slow. So by doing Chat GPT, I use it for the description and the titles. It helps a little bit, makes it faster. So let's see, can you guys see me right there? I don't know if you need to see me, but anyway, I'll give you a little tip on if it's just you and your husband or you and your wife living alone, living at home, and you don't have a lot of kids at home, it's just a couple of you, store your bread in the freezer. I put it back in the freezer every time. And then these, I'll just throw them in the microwave for like 30 seconds. But here's the big tip I'm going to give you that'll take your cooking to the next level that a lot of people don't do, and it does make a big difference. And that is, toast your bread with olive oil. So I'm just gonna, these are frozen right out of the freezer. So I'm just gonna throw them in there for like 30 seconds, just to let them thaw out. And I'll show you it. Let's see, where's my, wipe this out. You guys over here, you can kind of see this better. Hope. Tilt this down. That's one of the challenges with these lives, is trying to get the video, because they want it vertical. So You shoot it the other way, that doesn't get posted on the shorts. So I did the 30 seconds with my bread. Here's the game changer. Super easy. Just take your bread, whatever it is. I usually like to use sourdough. We don't have sourdough right now, so I'm just gonna. Let's see if I have sourdough. I might have some. I usually try to keep some sourdough available, because sourdough is so much better when it comes to making the sandwiches. But anyway, there's our bread. So I just take a, if you don't have one of these, let's see how much oil I got, I'm getting low. So if you don't have one of these, get you an olive oil dispenser. And what you do is you just, if you can see that, you just drizzle it. Just go over the bread, just drizzle. One quick drizzle like that. You see that? So that's just some olive oil right on the bread. And then go ahead and put it in the oven on the broil and just toast the bread before you make your sandwiches with the olive oil. So I just have a broil setting on my stove, so I'll just leave it on there. This is something I do a lot. I burn the bread. I don't know what it is about bread. I've set timers, I've done it all, and I burn the bread about 50% of the time. So don't burn the bread. Here you go. So if you're from Northern California and you're here for the travel channel, put a comment down in the comments. Say, hey, I'm from here, or I'm from wherever, and so we can kind of get an idea. You don't have to be from Northern California to watch our channel. It just we give a lot of tips on traveling. Today I'm just cooking for Betsy, so I thought I'd make a live real quick while I'm doing it. We already talked. You'll see the if you missed any of, we talked about the trip. This will post as a regular video once we end, so you can watch it that way. The trick to bacon: don't put it on high. Take the whole package, put it in the pan, just pull it right out of the package like that, straight into the pan. The nice thing about bacon too is you can cook bacon frozen. You can take it right out of the freezer, throw it right in the pan, and you just have to separate it with a fork as it thaws out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this straight in the pan. Nothing to it, no salt, no pepper. It has enough salt and all that in it. So straight in the pan. Now I usually bring the temperature up to high, and then I'll turn it down to like 4 or medium. You know, not medium for most ovens. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in the pan. So a little bit back history on me and about cooking. A lot of people think, oh man, this dude's cooking. Yeah, well, I had a tragedy in my life, and he left me alone by myself, taking care of myself, and I didn't know how to cook. And I lost like 40 pounds, and my neighbor came from across the street, and she said, it's hard to see in the video, but I was, at the time that this happened, I was about 240 pounds. And by the time my neighbor came over and told me, hey, you're gonna learn how to cook. I'm gonna come over every Monday night. Thank you, Marcia. She's the best. She taught me how to survive. And I'm gonna teach you how to cook. And so she came over, and she's an excellent cook. She's like she's one of those people you'd pay to come cook at your house. She's just like an amazing cook. So anyway, that's how I started cooking was, let me separate this bacon real quick. How I started cooking was I lost 40 pounds, and so she came over and started teaching me how to cook. So that's how I became a pretty good cook, by doing that. And now I do most of the cooking in the house. So Betsy works really odd hours, so it's really hard for her to cook dinner. She cooks when she has time or she feels like it. But for the most part, in the comments, comment down there if you're the cook and you're the male in the house. I'd like to know how many men are actually doing all the cooking in the house. So anyways, BLT's quick, easy meal. Get your bread in the oven. 2 or 3 minutes in the oven is all it takes. And Betsy taught me this trick, and that is, once it gets close, leave the door open so you don't forget about the bread. I burn bread all the time. I don't know what it is about bread, but the difference between good bread and bad bread is about a minute. So if you get distracted easily like I do, you can go from having good bread to burnt bread real quick. So anyway, so right now we got our bread in the oven. We don't want to forget about it. And I'm going to go ahead and sip. BLTs are a great fast dinner. You can make a BLT and, well, the bacon takes about 10 or 15, about 15, 20 minutes maybe. Because it's like right now you can hear the bacon starting to sizzle. So that's when I know, I'm on high right now. So once I get it separated, I'll turn the bacon down to 4 or medium on your stove. And just take your time with bacon. Don't cook it fast. That's how it gets burnt and crunchy, is because you overcooked it. So a good BLT is just good toast in the oven that's been drizzled with olive oil. And then I use a spatula for the mayonnaise, which makes it really fast. Put your lettuce and tomato on there, salt and pepper, slice it, and you're done. Real quick, easy meal. You could teach a 5-year-old how to make these. You really can. So anyway, this channel is not about cooking, but I just thought today I'm trying to get the travel channel going, getting some kind of traction on the travel channel. I have another channel that I spend a lot of time in that's about automotive. It's called Go Big Garage 66. You can find us on YouTube at Go Big Garage 66. Where I teach automotive principles and I've been a mechanic for 40 years. So I retired at 55. I spent a lot of my career doing electrical diagnosis and repair. So I do a lot of that on the channel. So as you can hear, the bacon's really sizzling now. So you need to turn it down at that point. You don't want to keep it on high the whole time. You want to keep it, Italian Iceman. I wish I could understand what you said to me. I'd refer back to you, but welcome to the channel. Thanks for leaving a comment. Appreciate it. So we almost burnt the bread. It was close. You know what I mean? I'll show you a good example. We almost went from good bread to bad bread. That'll be mine. I don't mind the burnt one. Pepsi will get the good one. So you got your bread done. While the bacon's cooking, let's go ahead and prep our breads. What you want to do is you want the toasted side out. So turn these over like this, so when you get done with your sandwich, it's toasted side out. So I'll go ahead and just put these like this. Let's see if you can see that. You see that? Let's turn that that way just a little bit. So I'll just set these like this. And here's something that saves time. You think it doesn't, but I'm telling you what, once you try it, you'll change your mind. Just quit using a butter knife when you're doing bread. Get a spatula. This isn't my favorite spatula, but I got 2 or 3 of these, and these are great for spreading mayo. Hopefully I got mayo. Hopefully Betsy remembered to get mayo, because we were out before we left. I'm not sure if we got mayonnaise or not. Thought she did, mayo. Maybe it's in the cupboard. Hang on, let me see. Sushi. I don't know. We might be having LTs instead of, or BTs instead of BLTs. Or no mayo. No mayonnaise? We might be using ranch today. Hang on. LTs, I don't have no mayonnaise. Okay, we're gonna improvise. We're having ranch on our BLTs today. Anyway, the when you spread mayonnaise, it takes forever with a butter knife. If you're making 6 BLTs by using this spatula right here, you can do them in like half the time. We just got back from a trip, so we used up all of our food, and we didn't resupply our mayo. So we're going to use ranch. That'll be fine. But as you can see, spreading this stuff with a spatula as opposed to a butter knife is so much faster. What's going to make this sandwich great is the fact that we just harvested some of our tomatoes out of the garden when we got back. So there's nothing better than fresh tomatoes out of the garden. You want to up your game when it comes to cooking? Start growing a garden. So the bacon's still going. While the bacon's cooking, we'll go ahead and get all our veggies ready. Man, this knife is bad. Need to get a sharper knife here. That's not a good knife, I don't know about you guys, man. I have a heck of a time keeping my knife sharp. This knife sharpener I'm using right here is made by Westhoff. Kind of expensive, but man, I've had this thing forever, and it does a pretty good job. About 50 strokes with this on a really dull knife, and you're ready to go. I've abused my knives lately, and I think it's time for a stone. A stone will actually really give you a nice edge. This gives you a fair edge, but a stone will give you so much better of an edge. I was unprepared today for this. I should have been more prepared, but I got up. I took a mid-afternoon nap because I was kind of under the weather a little bit after the trip. So I figured, heck with it. Got up, said I'm going to go do a live, make some lunch. So as your bacon's cooking, what you want to do is just stir it once in a while. Just give it a stir so it'll stick to the bottom of the pan. I don't know if you've seen how hard I was trying to cut that tomato, just that little bit on that sharpener. This nice ready to go. I'll show you, I'll give you another little tip on lettuce. That is a game changer when it comes to making sandwiches. Is take your lettuce and, get your lettuce ready, like you're going to put it on the sandwich. And then soak it in a bowl of water. Just by soaking your lettuce in a bowl of water, it'll make it so much more crispy than if you just take it and put it right on a sandwich. So we did a Walmart order and we got like 2 different types of lettuce for some reason. So we're going to use this one today. So something we heard when we got back, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that somebody drowned at one of the ports when we were out. So be aware, when you're swimming in the ocean, you got to understand currents. Currents. This is probably the best advice I could give you is most people drown. I grew up as a kid in Southern California, so I spent a lot of time at the beach and swimming at the ocean. And a lot of people drown because they get caught in rip currents or rip tide. And what that means, you get a tide that's actually pulling you out to sea. And it's just kind of like a river underneath the water that's flowing out to sea. And if you get stuck in that tide, a lot of people, they panic and they start swimming as hard as they can trying to get back to shore. And then you're not going to overcome that current. So instead of trying to swim to shore, this can save your life. So you really need to listen to what I'm saying right here. If you get caught in a riptide, and you'll know it because all of a sudden you're getting further and further and further away from the shore. Quit trying to swim in and turn and swim diagonal with the bank. So in other words, instead of trying to go into where the bank is at, turn and swim alongside until you get out of the current. If you swim far enough, you'll get out of that current, and then it'll allow you to come in. You can't overcome a riptide swimming. They've had like professional swimmers where they put them in riptides and tried to get them to swim straight in, and they couldn't do it. So if you ever get in that situation, you feel like, man, something's not right, turn sideways and swim for 300 or 400 yards, or maybe even further along, diagonal with the shore until you get out of that current, and then it'll allow you to come in. It'll save your life. That's just rumor, but we heard a little rumor that somebody did. So here's my lettuce, I'll show you. So just take your lettuce like that, fill this bowl full of water. And before you use it, drain it and then put it on a sandwich. So doing the water just makes the lettuce crispy. It makes it really crispy, so when it goes on the sandwich, it's not all limp. So just let it sit there in the bowl until you're ready to use it, and then drain it, and then put it on the sandwich. Well, we're just going to go ahead and put these sandwiches together. I just thought I would, this is not a cooking channel. This is more of a travel channel, but I was making lunch and I thought I'd jump on here and do a live. So if you guys who are watching, if you've been to the Caicos Islands or Turk Islands or Celebration Keys, leave a comment so we can get some input on if you liked it, you disliked it, or you know what, so will know if we're going down the right road. And today was just lunchtime, so I thought I'd do a live while I was doing this. I thought about doing a 15-minute a day, but we got to get some audience before we do that. Okay, so we're gonna sign off for now. We're just gonna put sandwiches together, cut them in half, and they're ready to go. Have a great day.